I still remember the ridiculous amount of time I once spent trying to order lunch. It should have been simple. I was standing in front of a bright menu board with 20 different dishes, each one looking good enough to deserve a chance, and somehow my brain just stopped working. I read the menu once, then twice, then a third time like a person searching for a hidden answer that was never there. Spicy noodles looked good, but so did the rice bowl. Then I noticed the pasta. Then the salad suddenly seemed like the responsible choice. Then I thought maybe I should try something new. Then I worried I would regret it. Behind me, the line kept growing. The cashier smiled at me with that polite expression that says, "Please decide before all of us grow old here." And the strangest part was this. I was not choosing a life partner. I was choosing lunch. But my body reacted like the stakes were huge. That day, I walked away feeling weirdly embarrassed, not because of the food, but because I realized this was not just about a menu. This was happening everywhere in my life. I did it with clothes. I did it with work tasks. I did it with weekend plans. I did it when replying to messages. I did it with tiny decisions that should have taken seconds, but somehow stole minutes, energy, and peace from me. I kept telling myself I was being careful. I thought I was trying to make the best choice, but the truth was uglier than that. I was overloaded. My brain was not being wise, it was being flooded. So that night I started asking myself a question that changed the way I make decisions now. Not what is the perfect option, not what if I regret it, not what would impress people the most. I asked a much smaller question. If I could only choose between two options, which two would I keep? That was the beginning of what I now call my two-choice technique. The next time I faced a decision, I tested it. I went to a cafe with another huge menu, and I felt that same familiar mental fog coming in. You probably know that feeling. Your eyes keep scanning, but your mind gets slower and slower. More options somehow make you feel less powerful, not more. So this time I stopped myself early. I said, "Kaia, you are not choosing from 20 things. You are choosing from two." I looked once, picked the two dishes I wanted most, and ignored the rest. Just like that. No more romance with the full menu. No more pretending every option deserved equal attention. I narrowed it down to two, the chicken sandwich and the mushroom pasta. Then I gave myself 10 seconds. Which one sounded better right now? Pasta. Done. And honestly, I was shocked by how calm that felt. The food was good, but that was not the important part. The important part was that I had saved my brain from drowning in unnecessary comparison. That is the hidden problem with too many choices. We like to think more choices give us more freedom, but very often, more choices give us more friction. Every extra option asks your brain for more energy, more comparison, more prediction, more fear of missing out, more chances to imagine the perfect answer. And the moment your brain starts chasing perfect, simple decisions become heavy. This is what psychologists often describe as decision overload. When there are too many options, our mental system gets tired. Instead of feeling empowered, we feel stuck. We delay. We overthink. We look for more information, not because we need it, but because deciding feels uncomfortable. And the funny thing is, the discomfort often has nothing to do with the actual importance of the choice. That is why someone can spend 5 minutes choosing a drink and then be too mentally drained to focus on something that really matters. I began noticing that my worst delays came from open-ended choices. What should I eat? What should I wear? Which task should I start first? Where should I go this weekend? An open field looks like freedom, but for a tired brain, it feels like chaos. So I changed the game. Instead of asking, what should I choose? I started asking, what are the best two options here? That small shift made a huge difference. When I had too many tasks at work, I stopped staring at the full list like it was some giant monster. I chose two options for what to do next: either finish the presentation or reply to the client email. Just two. Then I picked one and started. When I was choosing what to wear, I stopped touching 8 outfits and asking which version of me I wanted to become that day. I put two options on the bed and chose between them. When I was deciding whether to go out or stay home, I reduced it to two real choices, not 10 imaginary ones. Stay home and rest, or go out for 1 hour only. That was it. The more I practiced this, the more I realized something important. Most of my stress was not coming from the decision itself. It was coming from the number of options I allowed into the room. And this is where the technique gets even more powerful. The first part is reducing choices. The second part is setting a deadline. Because let me be honest, even with only two choices, I could still drag things out if I let myself. I could compare the two choices like a courtroom drama and invite every possible future consequence to testify. So I made one more rule. Once I narrowed it down to two, I had to decide by a specific time. Sometimes the deadline was 10 seconds, sometimes 30 seconds, sometimes 1 minute for slightly bigger decisions. For bigger life choices, maybe 1 day or 1 week, but always a limit. Because without a deadline, the brain keeps searching. It keeps whispering, maybe just a little more thinking, maybe one more opinion, maybe one more article, maybe one more sign from the universe. A deadline interrupts that spiral. It tells your mind, this decision does not get unlimited rent in my head. That became my formula. First, reduce the field to two. Second, set a clear deadline. Third, choose and move. And no, this does not mean every decision in life should be rushed. I am not saying you should use this for serious choices without reflection. But even with big decisions, the principle still helps. You can gather information first, then narrow the realistic options to two, then set a date to choose. Otherwise, some people spend months or years in a fog of fake thinking, where they are not actually making progress, they are just circling. I learned that the two-choice technique works because it respects how the brain actually functions. Our minds do better with structure than with endless possibility. We do better when there is a frame. We do better when the next step is clear. Too many options make us feel smarter, but often they make us slower. Limiting options does not weaken your freedom, it protects your energy. There was one moment that really proved this to me. A friend asked me to join a project, and I felt myself slipping into my usual pattern. I opened my notes app. I listed pros and cons. I imagined future schedules. I worried about money, timing, pressure, opportunity, regret. After an hour, I was more confused than when I started. Then I caught myself and laughed. I was doing the menu thing again, just in a prettier outfit. So I stopped and asked, what are the real two choices? Join the project or decline and protect my current schedule? That was the actual decision, not 12 emotional variations of it, just two. Then I gave myself until the next evening. By the deadline, I chose. And once I chose, I felt immediate relief. Not because the choice was perfect, because the noise was over. That is another lesson I wish more people knew. Fast decisions do not always come from more confidence. Sometimes they come from less clutter. You do not need to become a fearless person overnight. You just need to stop making every decision compete with every possible version of life. So if you are someone who freezes in front of menus, tabs, tasks, messages, opportunities, or even tiny everyday choices, here is what I want you to remember. Your brain is not broken, it is overloaded. The solution is not always more research, more comparison, or more time. Sometimes the solution is a smaller stage. Pick the best two options, ignore the rest. Set a deadline. Choose before your brain turns a simple moment into a full-time job. That is what I learned from one stupid lunch menu. I thought I had a decision problem, but really, I had an options problem. And once I understood that, life started moving again. Not because every choice became easy, but because I stopped worshiping endless choice as if it was wisdom. Sometimes wisdom is simpler than that. Sometimes wisdom is just saying, these are my two choices, this is my deadline, and I am moving forward.